Morning, everyone. This is Marcelo Stokes. Hope everyone's having a good morning today. Here's a look at right now the National Hurricane Center's website, giving still these two areas a chance of development. The one right here near the Southwest Gulf is pretty much diminished and has a 0% chance. They downgraded this to a 10% chance in the Caribbean, but I still think that one has a very good chance of developing over the next few days. It appears right now shear is really beginning to weaken with this system, and I really think this likely will become a tropical depression. But not anytime soon, maybe in the next several days to about a week, we will deal with probably a tropical depression on our hands. Here's a satellite loop of it right here. You can see there it is right there. The reason I like this satellite is because when the sun comes up, you can get a good visual of it. And there it is right there. The sun is rosing around the Gulf of Mexico. So you can see a good swirl of the storm. Now, look at these cloud decks swaying from southwest to northeast at the bottom. That is extremely high amounts of shear right now. So it actually is knocking off any thunderstorm cloud top that tries to develop with this storm. So that's why this storm is not having a good chance of developing. One, look how close it is to Mexico. It's less than a few hundred miles from Mexico. We'll be crossing land later on tonight. But it still has a ton of amount of wind shear taking the storms off the cloud deck and killing any thunderstorm that tries to develop around the center. But you can see the center has a few thunderstorms developing around it. Right behind it, there actually is an upper level low. As this moves up to the west, it's actually going to decrease the amount of wind shear, begin to decrease the amount of shear, which is affecting the storm in the Caribbean. So this will actually help that storm begin to strengthen and develop outflow, and we actually could be dealing, like I said, with a possibly tropical depression in the next few days. Here's a look at it right now on the water vapor imagery right here. You can see there's showers and thunderstorms developing around the central Caribbean. The area low pressure, let me stop the map for a minute and draw up the area low pressure for you. It's right around, let's pick that up, there we are. It's right around probably this area. That's where the area low pressure is. There is some thunderstorms trying to develop around it right now, but the majority of thunderstorms are to the north and northeast of the center, producing some very heavy rainfall over parts of Jamaica, Cuba, and Hispaniola. Now, the problem is, as we head into the next few days, this continues to head off to the west, and I'll put it back into motion. As it continues to head off to northwest and west-northwest, extremely heavy amounts of rainfall is going to occur over parts of Haiti. The problem is with Haiti is they're 90 to 99% deforested, which means the majority of the land has no trees, just mountainsides and hills. That means if we get way too much rain too quickly, we could be dealing with massive flooding, landslides, and mudslides around that area. And that is a definite likelihood as we head into the next few days, so that's going to be something to watch. Now, unfortunately, Haiti is still dealing with that earthquake that happened about a year ago, and many are living in tent cities, so this is not a good situation for them at all. So this is a situation we want to watch very closely. Hopefully the government down there is taking precautions as rainfall is increasing. As we look at it right now, you can see it's already raining over the western part of the country right now, and this will continue to expand over the next few days because this system is not going to move at all. It's pretty much going to stay still and continue to bring rain over the same area, so flooding is possible for parts of Cuba, Jamaica, pretty much Hispaniola, and even parts of Puerto Rico. A couple of inches of rain cannot be ruled out. Unfortunately, it looks right now the system is not going to bring any good, decent moisture to Florida. I've been pulling some decent tracks as light is going to take right now. Once again, it's probably going to take a northwest track and then begin to take a turn to northeast. A little bit too far to the east to bring Florida any moisture. What we needed to take was a little bit farther western track for it to bring them some rain. But they obviously need the rain because they're in a pretty extreme drought. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen for them, unfortunately. You can clearly see the trough on the water vapor imagery right around here, where the shear is the strongest, right around this area. There's another upper level low right here. Don't worry, no tropical development is expected with that at all. But once again, like I said, the shear is expected to decrease over the next few days as the storm continues to begins to tighten up a little bit as we get thunderstorms trying to form around the center as the shear decreases. And once again, we can have a tropical system in the next few days to about a week. Here's the shear model right now around the Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico. You see there is a lack of shear with that system. Actually, see where the system is. Actually, right around there. So it's pretty much doing a good divide of it right there. There's a lack of shear, less than 10 knots around this area. There also is a lack of shear around that system we're watching. The interesting thing is, I see the shear is beginning to decrease around that system. You see it's beginning to expand with the blues and greens, which is a decrease in shear, other than the red, orange, pinks, and yellows, which are an increase in shear. So you can see the shear is starting to decrease. The storm is starting to have a little bit more environmental conditions that are becoming a little bit more conducive and favorable for possible development in the next few days. So we'll see as we head out to the northwest as the shear continues to decrease as the ridging pattern begins to shift. But you can see there continually is a good amount of shear over parts of the Caribbean right now, over parts of Cuba, Bahamas, extending southeastern parts of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. There is a good amount of shear, but this shear will continue to decrease over the next few days. Here's the NAM model. You can see it's actually doing a pretty good job of pinpointing where its location's at. It's actually pinpointing the area low pressures right around this area, right just northeast of Nicaragua and Honduras. The area low pressure around 1,008 millibars. So it's pretty sufficient for tropical development. Looking at the past few model runs, I've noticed that it's actually starting to take the future track has it going around this area and also through Cuba and then the Bahamas, and maybe we might bring some rainfall to Bermuda. But like I said, unfortunately, Florida's not going to get any rainfall from it. The NAM is actually starting to organize the storm a little bit quicker than the GFS model, so that's going to be something to see. We'll keep an eye on that, but it's also keeping very heavy rainfall over parts of Cuba and parts of the Western Caribbean, and including parts of Honduras, Nicaragua, maybe get some briefly heavy rain as we head into the next few days. Here's one more look at the GFS model. Showing it not as organized as the NAM was, also still at 1,008 millibars, but a little bit more disorganized with the GFS. GFS wants to take a little bit more time with it developing than the NAM. The NAM wants to immediately develop it in the next 3 to 4 days. The GFS wants to give it another 4 to maybe even 6 days of possible development before it gets organized. But once again, both of these models both have agreement of a potentially heavy rainfall over parts of the Western Caribbean. So we could be looking at life-threatening mudslides, mud flows, and landslides over parts of the Western Caribbean as we head into the next few days.